Dan. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Village Board meeting for Tuesday, May 23rd of 2017. We're in the Village Boardroom. It is now 7 o'clock. May we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stan, may we have a roll call, please?
Present.
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 Present. Moving on down, and we have some presentations tonight. I believe we have some commendations for excellence to the Westchester Police Department and Elmhurst Police Department. Chief, can you give us a little brief about what all this is about?
Well, thank you, Mr. President, Village Board. Good evening, everybody. Just want to commend some officers for the situation we had. I want to commend some of the officers that worked the case last April 5th at an aggravated vehicle hijacking in our town where two gentlemen drove up in a car. One of them got out, approached a resident in his driveway at gunpoint, demanded the keys to his car, and then took off and stole his vehicle. The incident occurred, as I said, the morning of April 5th, and prior to successfully doing this in our town, these two subjects attempted to do the same thing in the village or the city of Elmhurst and were unsuccessful. So, as we do in law enforcement, we communicate with each other. It was realized we had the incident in Elmhurst and we had the incident in Westchester. Both police departments are interested in pursuing these people and criminally charge them. So, as we do, what we call mutual aid is our officers, along with Elmhurst, worked the case and successfully brought the people who were involved under arrest. Now, the nice thing about this is when an incident like this occurs, we all have smaller departments. We don't have manpower like we do in the bigger cities. That's why we have mutual aid, and Illinois is actually one of the leading states in the union when it comes to mutual aid and mutual aid assistance. We are one of the tops when it comes to that. So therefore, on this hijacking, this arrest was swiftly taken care of within, first subject I believe was arrested within 2 days, right Vince? Well, it was within 2 days, and the other one a few days later. And what got the ball rolling, so I don't know if you watched the news last night on the red light camera last night on Channel 7. It was a red light camera that led us to a suspect vehicle. We could continue on the investigation. So red light cameras aren't all that bad when it comes to our area. So this evening we have some Elmhurst police officers who were involved in the investigation, and we have our detective unit here from the Westchester Police Department who was also involved. And together they worked diligently, they worked very hard, and they brought together a successful arrest. So if I could, I'd like to bring up the Elmhurst officers first. If you gentlemen don't mind coming on up here. Sarge, I'll let you introduce everybody, so come on up, guys.
Tim Jorgensen and then Alex Kakalukis.
And yourself?
Steve Manette, Sergeant with Elmhurst Police. Brad Capitelli.
What we did was, when we all do our jobs, police officers do their job and they like to do their jobs. This is one of the fun things. We kind of call it the thrill of the hunt. We get to go out and chase the bad guy. And that's fun and it's exciting and it's what motivates us to do our job. But when you do a job, something as exceptional as this, we like to go a little bit beyond and recognize the people that are involved. So here this evening, I'd like to give out these commendations to these Elmhurst officers from the village of Westchester. And they all say the same, so I'll just read one. But each individual officer has their own personal commendation. And for these Elmhurst officers, I have this commendation for excellence, and with their names, of course, and is hereby awarded this certificate in recognition of outstanding performance in law enforcement, reflecting the highest traditions of the profession for your initiative and dedication to duty, in your actions regarding an armed aggravated vehicular hijacking which occurred on April 5th, 2017. Your tenacity with the investigation helped lead to the swift apprehension of 2 suspects responsible for this heinous crime. Your actions exemplified the professional caliber expected with a multi-jurisdictional investigation and characterizes your commitment to the safety of all citizens. In witness whereof, we have here to affix our signatures in Westchester, Illinois, this 23rd day of May, 2017. So, gentlemen, on behalf of myself, the Village of Westchester, thank you very much for your assistance with my guys. Now I'd like to have our detectives here from Westchester come up. We got Sergeant Vince Lamanna, we got Detective Jerry Dildine, and we got Detective Sean Lynham, who Jerry and Vince are going to hold up Sean because unfortunately Sean's on a little medical leave right now. He had a collapsed lung a few days ago or a week ago. He had some surgery, so he's out on a medical leave. But he got it out and came out to get the award, so it's good to see you, Sean. You look pretty good for a guy that went through that. So as I said, Vince is our detective sergeant who supervises the unit, and these 3 detectives here from Westchester, along with these Elmhurst officers, did an outstanding job in pursuing these criminals and bringing them to justice. And we'd just like to recognize and reward them as well. Each one of these fine gentlemen will get a commendation themselves. And each one of them are awarded the same with their names, and I'll read one of them for the 3 of them. And they will be getting a commendation for excellence awarded to each one of these fine gentlemen. Is hereby awarded the certificate in recognition of outstanding performance in law enforcement, reflecting the highest traditions of the profession for your initiative, dedication to duty, and your actions regarding an armed, aggravated vehicular hijacking, which occurred on April 5th, 2017. Your tenacity with the investigation helped lead to the swift apprehension of 2 suspects responsible for this heinous crime. Your actions exemplifies the professional caliber that the Westchester Police Department embodies and characterizes your dedication to protect the citizens of Westchester. In witness hereof, we have here 2 affixed our signatures in Westchester, Illinois, this 23rd day of May, 2017. So, gentlemen, from the bottom of my heart and your hard work and your dedication, thank you very much.
All right, moving down into number 5 on our agenda, it's public comment and questions. If anyone would like to come up and address the board, please come up to the to the podium, state your name, your address, and please limit it to about 3 minutes so we can get out of here before 1 a.m. tonight. And so if you have any questions or comments, please come up, state your name.
How you doing, Dave Gates?
I'm sorry, what was it?
Dave Gates. I'm 1297 Edwards Avenue. Been a resident for about 15 years. Not even a year ago, came home from a business trip and noticed there was a sign in front of my house. And then I noticed there were signs near all over the town. And of course, you can imagine, didn't really like the sign in front of my house. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, why should I take care of the parkway, make it look nice, put my time, my money, my energy in the parkway when Westchester makes it look horrible? So I kind of let it go throughout the winter and didn't do anything in the summertime when the grass grow, thinking, why should I take care of it? And again, it looks, I don't want the sign there, especially when there's a pole right there you could put the sign on. And not only that, but it makes the whole town just look trashy. It really does. And so, especially I spent about $15,000 this last summer making my house look nice, putting a new roof on it, new gutters, new siding, and then I get a sign in front of my house. I don't want the sign in front of my house. And the sign is a no parking sign if they're, for street cleaning and whatnot. I don't understand why, especially I'm in the middle of the block. Why is this decision of a sign? I just think there's better ways to spend money than on signs. We have signs all over this town. Why do we have more? So, I don't know if there'd be a compromise or do anything about it. I just wanted to voice my opinion. I'm the taxpayer, so I figured I'd come and voice my opinion. If it does anything, I don't know, but at least I came here and did it.
Dave, it's always good when people come and address the board, and we always like that when you do come and address the board and tell us what you feel, because that's why we're here, because you put us here. You vote for us to be here, that's why we're here, and that's what we're supposed to do, and listen to what you have to say. Throughout my years in town, the spots that we usually put signs are usually so far from another one, so far from this one, so far from that one. If this sign is that bothersome for you in front of your house, we can look at it through Public Works and maybe remove that sign and move it to another place. The signs in town that were put up for a reason being that we want to sweep the streets and keep everything clean. So we had to have some kind of enforcement going on because there was no signs about anything about when to park, when not to park. So I will get together with Robert and we could see about moving that sign for you if that bothered you.
Yeah, I guess in all, it's not just me. I mean, maybe I'm the one with the guts to come here and say anything, but a lot of my neighbors are mad too. And it's like, I understand keeping the streets clean, but then you make the parkways look bad.
There's always a cause and effect, Dave. You know, that's what the problem is. So I think our thought process is we want to just keep all the debris from the sewers and everything else. We stop this flooding and stop the stuff that can back up and cause problems in our sewer system. So we did a lot of things with cleaning out sewers, catch basins, and everything else. This is part of that whole plan to keep the streets clear so it doesn't go down into that. So, I mean, as far as the sign goes, I think that sign, if it bothers you so much, I'm sure I could sit with Robert or Janet and we can remove it and move it to another location. I understand what you're saying, signs everywhere, signs, nobody reads them anyway, blah, blah, blah. I've seen that throughout my years in town too, but if you get a ticket, I didn't see a sign. You know what I mean? So we really have to protect our end too. Do I think I like a million signs all over town? Not really, but we also have to say, hey, we did warn you, it's here, it's there. And, you parked in a no parking zone, you get towed, all those things are what we have to do.
I guess from my standpoint too, is like, we're in Westchester, we don't live in the city. We come to live in the suburbs to get away from that.
I agree.
We don't want signs, we want our grass, our parkways, our nice, I got a nice big yard, I like it. I don't want crap.
We want you to stay, and we'll try to accommodate that part, and we'll work on the rest of it, too.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you for coming and voicing your
Do I
opinion.
leave this somewhere, or do I come in?
Give it to Stan, right in front of you, that's Stan.
Thank you again.
My pleasure. Would anyone else want to come up and address the board? All right. Moving to number 6, the consent agenda. Items A, B, C, D, A, B, and C, and D. A is the approval of the record of bills from 5/17 in the amount not to exceed $443,436. The approval of the minutes from the May 9th meeting, village board meeting, May 9th committee of the whole meeting, an ordinance rejecting and waiving the bids, approving the contract between the Village of Westchester and Genco Industries for the Mayfair Pump Station improvements, and a resolution advising and consenting the appointment of certain officers to the Citizen Advisory Committee.
Can I pull C, please?
Tommy, would you make a motion and second to pull C?
Just by his asking for it to be removed is simple enough, so that'll be removed from the consent agenda.
So then
Any
anyone
other
else?
I had a question on BI, and that was the signature page for the board minutes I didn't see in the pack. So just wanted to see if that was an oversight.
Janet? Let me go back and look at that one.
Stan, do you have a complete set of the minutes from the May
Hang on,
9th meeting?
hang on, I'll get it.
That page as well.
Oh,
The page 13, village board minutes?
no, the signature
The
page.
signature
Oh, the
page that
signature
everybody
page.
voted in.
Gotcha.
I've got 3 pages in my packet with
I
also,
got
the
May
last one
9th.
says the meeting was adjourned at 8:34, so.
And I have one that was adjourned at 8:45. I
Okay.
have the committee whole meeting.
We can
Yeah.
pull that and represent it next meeting with the signature page.
That. Sure, you want that pulled?
Yes.
Okay, so then we're down to A and D. Okay, motion and second for the consent agenda for items A and D.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Yurkovich, seconded by trustee Stecker. Stan, can we have a vote?
Aye.
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 All right, moving into the items, item number C, Tommy.
I just had a question. Is this including new pumps for that station too?
The smaller dewatering pumps, yes.
What was that, Robert? I didn't hear you.
There's 4 pumps in the station. This includes replacement of 2 of the pumps, the dewatering pumps, the smaller ones.
That's when the pond gets down so far, then.
Then the little
What
ones.
about the 2 main pumps?
The 2 main pumps are still serviceable and in fairly good shape. This contract doesn't include doing anything to the main pumps.
Is there anything that needs to be done to the main pumps?
Well, they should be run automatically. The problem is we don't have a float system that's real reliable, which is why we have a SCADA package in here. My observation has been that staff, when they run the large pumps, don't always know when to shut them off, and we get pretty severe cavitation in those pumps. The reason we included a SCADA package is to automate that, so it takes the guesswork. Because the wet well is 17 feet down with no lights in it, we can't really tell. So if you were to replace a motor, a long shaft, and the volute side of the pump, it's probably $75,000 times 2. So the problem is that when they operate that station manually, we can't exceed the limit of operation, and then the pump is jumping in and out of the housing.
How long has it been since those 2 pumps were ever looked at?
They were looked at just before I got here. There was an invoice from a company called Dry Silker to come in and do amp test on it and test the windings and test for vibration. Because I guess they were operating it manually out of their operational range and wanted it checked. That's what the report in the invoice said, and they were okay. We've tested it again, and they appear to run okay. I think we can get some more service out of the larger pumps. They don't run very often. The smaller pumps run a lot. So they were put in 1975, so they've been around a long time. But as you know, other than 2010 and 2013, they really haven't run very much.
And the 27,000 is, the 27.7 is for the SCADA system?
I believe that's what was for,
That's the alternate work
right.
component.
That's the alternate component, right?
Yes. 27.7 is for the SCADA system. This SCADA system will also allow us to run remotely. We can have an operator with it on an iPhone or an iPad, and as those systems trigger on and off, he'll get a notice, pumps turning on. We'll want to know when certain things are coming on, coming off, without sending a crew out there. That would be a huge advantage to us operationally, to have that system in place. Also, we can program when the big pumps turn on and turn off, so we don't get this cavitation problem. We'll be able to put the right probes in there to get within an inch the levels for on and off. Increases the reliability of that system.
Yeah, I guess I don't want to speak for everybody else. I guess what I'm getting at is, we just want to make sure that we're doing everything we need to do right now, and 6 months from now, we don't catch a surprise and say, hey, you know, guess, by the way, the big pumps need to go.
Yeah.
They've been,
That's what I'm getting
you know,
at,
that's
too.
why, you know, we just want a little bit more clarification that, you know, we've done our due diligence, and, you know, we're not gonna get stuck putting another $150,000 into the two pumps. And I know, I'm not asking to put a guarantee on it, but, you know, have we really, you know, looked at them again and you know, done something that says, hey, you know what, the pumps, when they are operating, you know, they're operating at the right standards and all that stuff. And
Well, one of the things that was recommended to do after we do the electrical upgrades, it's difficult to test. One of the things that you do in a pump station to test operations is you measure the amperage draw. And it tests a lot of things, the windings, well, not going into a lot of technical detail. You can test it, but you test it through the motor control center and the electrical distribution panel, which are shot. So we don't get a real clear signal. We've been removing the motor housing and trying to test it that way, which isn't the best way to do that. You get a lot of transient measurements and other things. So the true test is after we get a new panel. But I have asked that question. Mead Electric is out there. Our electrician we use for our street lighting system was out there. And we've had Dr. Marion Kessy, who does a lot of work for MWRD and pump stations. We had him out there to take a look and make recommendations. I think I've gotten some expert advice.
are we still getting good flow out of them? I mean, did you know, you know, is the flow rate where it's supposed to be?
Yes.
Okay.
So the panel itself, for years, that panel's given us trouble, and everybody's tried to put a piece in to help that piece, to help this piece, to help that piece. So now this project, and I'm sorry I'm coming in at the tail end of this, so that project's gonna redo that whole panel?
We're going to replace the panel. The
Take
problem
it
with
off.
the electrical panel is all the connections to the circuitry is in the lower third of the panel, which has been underwater twice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a good thing for an electrical system. And a lot of the insulation on the wires is shot, it's cracked, it's falling apart. And when you put an electrical test on the metal box surrounding it, it tests positive. It has current flow. So if you were to touch it and your feet were in water, you would probably ground the system out. And the concern is it's a 480 volt system. And it's time to replace those pieces.
How much do what these like tests to test the pumps typically run?
Say again?
The test, you know, after we get the whole the electrical panel, how much is the test? You know, how expensive?
I think the invoice was something like $1,200. They came out and did a series of amperage draws. And we would probably do the same.
After it's done?
Yeah.
After.
That's
I think
what he answered it.
Yeah, after it's done, correct?
Yeah.
Once, if we were to do all the upgrades right now and have somebody come out around $1,200 and,
Oh, no, I would ask the installer to make sure it works and get it as part of this price if I can.
Robert, what's after this at that station? After this, what else is planned for that station?
If we could add anything, it would be great to have some security cameras out there. That's not in this package, but in
mechanically, Robert, anything mechanically on that system, other than the 2 main pumps, that would be it mechanically on that whole system?
The only other suggestion that was made is that we switch those pumps out to variable speed drives, but we did not see any benefit in a pump that runs once every 2 years to
Yeah,
invest in a brand new variable speed pump.
I
We
would
just
agree
thought
with-
we're okay.
I would
where
agree
we're-
with that.
Yeah.
So your next move on this station, because I'm looking at dollars and what we're gonna spend it on. So if we're spending these dollars here, that'll be complete that station to be functional, working the way it should be, the way nobody got hurt there. The next thing you foresee is to put cameras there. And
Cameras would help, and also for security purposes and any type of liability claim would be would be caught on cameras. I mean, it's used as a recreational facility from time to time, you know, so barring fencing the whole area off, it'd be nice to have cameras out there. It's not necessary. The improvements that are in this package are necessary to keep it running.
do we have a generator for there?
We are putting in an emergency generator plug-in station, but not a generator. The thought
Plug-in.
is that
Plug-in.
we have always been able to get an emergency generator from Homeland Security, portable on a trailer, and we can plug that in. Emergency generator for operating that station is well over 100,000, I would guess.
Is there any means that maybe we can put it through and try to plan it for another few years to get a generator put out there?
Oh, absolutely, sure.
Do we have, does it have to be electric, or could it be just gas? Or, I mean, it's gotta be gas or diesel, one of the two.
It could be either. At about 125 kW, the diesels are a lot less expensive to own and operate.
Not a fan. Personally, I'm not a fan. I would like to see a natural gas one be out there.
Yeah, they're more expensive in the bigger sizes, but we
I think
certainly
more
can look into
reliable.
it, and
More reliable.
They are more reliable. There'd be an issue with gas feed. The
We just got a
gas main that
feed
currently
there.
services that area to bring gas for the emergency generator at the Park District building, they might want a recapture on that, because Northern Illinois Gas
Yep.
charged them 20,000, I think it was. Tom, was it?
I think it was a little bit more, but yeah.
So that we couldn't get gas out there to supply a gas generator without asking the owner of the main, the ones that put it in. And they might want some recapture on that. I don't know, but we wouldn't be able to get supply with the main that is out there in the public easement.
I had a question.
Go ahead, Frank.
You said we were able to get an emergency generator from Homeland Security in case of a storm,
Yes.
right? Are those always available? Like 100% we'll be able to get one?
Well, I can't answer that. Every time we've gone down there, they have had pumps and generators available. We're usually the first ones down there. A lot of public works departments either have those kind of items, or they only call in a dire emergency, like 2010 and 2013.
Well, do you reserve that? Like, you know the storm's gonna hit at 8 o'clock?
First come, first served.
Do you get that thing at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon?
Well, we call ahead in anticipation of things.
Oh, okay.
And they'll tell us we have one or we don't have one. And then if we're far enough ahead of it, if they don't have them, we can always rent one.
And how readily available are those to rent?
Well, in 2010, they were all gone. There
They're all
weren't any available because it was an emergency and everybody wanted them.
But we haven't had a problem getting them from Homeland, right?
No.
Okay.
There's also service companies out there that you could call upon to bring generators in and,
Yeah, in an emergency.
In an emergency
we act
situation, yeah.
with police and fire and
I mean,
pool
restoration
resources,
companies,
and
you
we
know,
call
larger
everybody.
restoration companies and.
I know when we went down, was it Midlothian now, that old hospital? Or where-
I think,
or-
yeah, that's where
we went down there, and, I mean, they had a lot of them. And the good, well, I guess the good thing or bad thing is a lot of people don't know who to call and who to ask, and we do. So, because they were like, call us, and, I mean, I know just at my firehouse, the backup generator went down, and they're like, we'll bring you one, we have them, you know, this is what they're here for. And they had a slew of them, and at least we know how to get them quickly.
So, other than the backup generator and the possibility that, you know, the two pumps and, you know, you can't foresee anything, there's nothing else we can,
No, I think that's it.
Maybe during the future of this, maybe we can sit down with the park and maybe cut a deal with them to get their gas line to us. And hopefully at a cheaper rate than what they put it in for.
These pumps, they're in the budget, correct?
Everything?
The dewatering pumps are in this.
They're in this budget.
Yeah. We're also doing some improvements on the confined space. It's a 17-foot 4x4 hole that you gotta send someone down with no ventilation or lights. It was okay in 1975, but not so much today. So we're putting a rail system in there so we can attach these pumps and drop them in and they self-seat. So this is a pretty good improvement for the future and for the confined space entry issue that we have to face when we do maintenance.
Any more questions?
Okay.
Call it for a vote?
I don't know, did somebody move and second this?
So moved.
It is now.
There's no.
Second.
Tommy, second.
Carl made the motion, Tommy seconded. Need a vote?
Roll call.
Trustee Celestino?
Aye.
Trustee Miller?
Aye.
Trustee Perry?
Aye.
Trustee Stecker?
Aye.
Trustee Yurkovich?
Aye.
Trustee Calcagno?
Aye.
Motion carries. The minutes, we will defer them to the next board meeting. And also, is Dawn out here?
No.
She's not. The appointment to the Citizens Advisory Board would be for Dawn?
Yes.
That's the appointment would be made tonight if the board so sees it well. So that's the last
I think we voted
thing.
on that in the consent.
Just
That
making
was
them
already
know.
included in the consent.
Just want to make them known who it is, okay? All right, moving down to the active agenda. We're going for number A, an ordinance on section 2.60.140 and section 15.14.040 of the Westchester Municipal Code regarding the water and sewer rate charge in the village of Westchester. Can we get a motion and second
So
for
moved.
this, for the passing for the increase that was passed on to us from the city of Chicago? So it'll be a pass-through, Janet, what was that again? I don't remember that,
I'm
6, 7 cents.
on the water rate.
7 cents per 1,000 gallons.
It'd be 7 cents per 1,000 gallons. So this is what's going on, the water agency, Chicago passed it on to the water agency, and now we're passing it through us to the residents here. So we'll need a motion and a second for the approval to pass this.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Stecker made the motion
I made the
and
second.
I made the
seconded
motion.
by Trustee Perry.
Okay.
Yep.
Whatever.
Or that.
Stan?
Trustee Miller?
Aye.
Trustee Perry?
Aye.
Trustee Stecker?
Aye.
Trustee Yurkovich?
Aye.
Trustee Calcagno?
Aye.
Trustee Celestino?
Aye.
All right, that motion passes. Line B on the active agenda. This is fun. Barb Brandt's out here today. Barb Brandt has been our treasurer for how long, Barb? 17 years? Barb Brandt's been our treasurer for 17 years, and she's done a fabulous job. And it's my honor tonight to appoint her as our treasurer. So Barb, can you come on up here and I can swear you in. You want to bring your family up? You may. Bless you, beautiful mom.
We need to vote on this resolution after she gets sworn in. Sort of like the last meeting when people were taking the oath before we voted. Or no,
Hey,
Sam issued the oath before, or had the new, the old board vote on
it's
it.
Westchester, what do you think?
It's all right. That's why they have do-overs.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the Code of the Village of Westchester,
and the Code of the Village of Westchester,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of treasurer
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the treasurer
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
My board, it was a pleasure doing this for you.
Did you know Jerry? Spot. Barb's.
Yeah, Barbara's supposed to wear the same shirt as Janet.
I was leaning over to talk to him. I'm like,
She said she was, I didn't get the memo. I was like,
I'm going to ask for a motion second.
And you can do that by acclamation.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't need a roll call.
Be careful. All right, board members, and what I need for this is a roll call, not a roll call, just,
Motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
second. Motion by trustee Yurkovich, second by trustee Miller. Just, we don't need a roll call, we can just all say aye.
Aye.
Beautiful, perfect. All right,
It's
going
official,
on.
Barb.
Going on to the C, resolution approving the collective bargaining agreement between the Village of Westchester and the Metropolitan Alliance Police of Westchester Sergeants Chapter. This is the contract that we negotiated. Everything is good, Janet, Mike?
yes,
Yes,
mean-
it runs through April 30th of 2018, so it's got 2 years retro, so it took a while.
Okay. All right, we need a motion second,
So
please.
moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Yurkovich, seconded by trustee Stecker. Stan, may we have a roll?
Trustee Perry.
aye.
Trustee Stecker.
Aye.
Trustee Yurkovich.
Aye.
Trustee Calcagno.
Aye.
Trustee Celestino.
Aye.
Trustee Miller.
Aye.
And that one goes through, give me a second here.
EDC.
Yep. The last one, it's a resolution for the appointment of Krista Brazil to the Economic Development Committee for her term expiring April 30th, 2019. Do we need a motion second on this?
Yes.
We need a motion for the resolution for the appointment.
Was this ever on a cow before?
Yeah, we talked about it last
I
meeting.
think
Mhm.
trustee Perry brought
Yeah.
it up last time.
Okay, we got a motion second.
Someone.
Second.
Motion by trustee Perry, second by trustee Stecker. May we have a roll?
Trustee Stecker?
Aye.
Trustee Yurkovich?
Aye.
Trustee Calcagno?
Aye.
Trustee Celestino? Trustee Miller?
Aye.
Trustee Perry?
Aye.
Motion carries. Down to the manager's report. Janet.
Just two things this evening. First thing, I'm pleased to report that the Villages has received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting by the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada, which we refer to as GFOA, for its comprehensive annual financial report for last fiscal year. The fiscal year ended April 30th of 16. A Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of government accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by the government and its management. The CAFR has been judged by an impartial panel to meet the high standards of the program, which includes demonstrating a constructive spirit of full disclosure to clearly communicate its financial story and motivate potential users and user groups to read the CAFR. So I just wanted to thank our former finance director and our finance staff for their contributions to that report, and this is a great achievement.
Thank you. Michael.
Oh, I'm sorry, I had one other thing, just a quick note, Monday is Memorial Day. In observance of Memorial Day, the front office and Public Works will be closed as usual. Police and fire will be available 24/7 for emergencies.
Thank you. Michael.
No report for this meeting.
All right. Members of the board, anybody would like to present something?
Nothing to present.
Nothing?
Just one thing, just a reminder, June 10th is going to be our last electronic recycling event over by the water towers. Our waste management company will be taking that over. I would just like to suggest that maybe we reach out to them and see if we're gonna get any information mailed out, sent out to the residents. Or
Yes.
put it on our website just to let everybody know that.
They will be, and it will also be in the June newsletter.
Anyone else?
Is this electronics only, or will we having?
They'll be taking on everything now. They'll be taking on light bulbs, they'll be taking on
Paint.
paints, chemicals.
Not necessarily paper shredding.
No
No
paper
paper
shredding.
shredding.
We may have an event in the
We still
fall.
have to talk about the fall event, yeah, if we're gonna, we'll probably, end up doing something, I'm sure.
Anyone else?
June 17th is Cabs Get Out and Play Day from 10 to 2 at St. Joe's. That's about it.
Paul. Nick?
Yeah, just got out of the Police and Fire Commission meeting. Are looking to replace some of the firefighters. They're running through the first, they found 4 candidates to go through the exams. Out of the first 13, several people turned it down, but they have 4 candidates that they're putting through the testing procedures right now. For entry-level police, they're running the test, or continue to, and the chief is looking for the new candidate to get in before the August 7th Academy. The sergeant's exam, the commission was extremely pleased with the results from the 12 candidates. The written results were completed, and now they're going to be moving on to the assessment center. So it appears that the next meeting there is going to be June 7th.
Anyone else? All right, let's move down. Steve?
Good evening. As Trustee Stecker said, we just had an officer leave the department last week. He wanted to be a federal air marshal, wanted to go into the federal government, so we will be replacing that officer soon, hopefully. I just want to say thank you to all those that came out last Friday for the Dunkin' Donuts Cop on Top rooftop event for Special Olympics. A crummy day, bad weather, but we did great. We submitted a check. We brought in $4,700. Last year we brought in $3,400, and then the FOP wrote us a check to even it out to $5,000. So I sent off a check today, Special Olympics, for $5,000 from the event. So success here, and I want to thank everybody, residents, if you came out and supported it. Thank you very much.
Jimmy?
First of all, I'd like to thank the village and the board for their thoughts and prayers for my mother-in-law, Lois Sternad, who had passed away somewhat suddenly. Kind of caught some health issues caught up with her in the last couple of weeks, but thank you for that. I appreciate it. Also, last Friday, Loyola Hospital had their annual EMS breakfast, awarding awards to various people in their system for calls they've had throughout the year. Earlier in the year, I had mentioned a couple times some calls that some individuals have been on. They attended the breakfast. Eric Biskup, Joe Gerace, Mark Wanke, Nick Snavely, and Matt Heiderman were all in attendance that morning. I was out of town, unfortunately, and Lieutenant Stauber was also a recipient of their awards. So they were recognized by Loyola Hospital for outstanding pre-hospital emergency medical services they provided on a couple calls earlier in the year. So that's all I got.
Thank you. Greg?
I got nothing pressing, so I'll defer everything to the committee of the whole meeting.
You got it. Robert?
Had a meeting this afternoon with the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District. They had approved our Sunnyside project for permits. We were into them for permits and just got that approval today. They also let me know that they have a call for projects. They're looking for property buyouts from frequently flooding areas. And there's a number of properties along Addison Creek that have no homes on it, but those properties remain in private holdings. And my thoughts were that we would try to participate in this program to see if MWRD would buy those out. They would buy it off back taxes. I think that's where it is now. These properties are on the west side of the creek, Suffolk Avenue, where there's a stretch there with no homes. With the board's concurrence, I will begin to explore that program to see what they can do. I think the strings attached are that property can never be developed. They have to remain in the natural state. But I'm not so sure you could do much with those properties anyway. Half of them are in the creek.
Who would maintain it?
Well,
because then we end up with the responsibilities. Yeah, don't worry, we'll buy it. You maintain it.
They're working on an intergovernmental agreement for the Addison Creek channelization project, and they will be approaching all communities this summer, July, August, about an intergovernmental agreement that they will turn over the maintenance to Addison Creek to us. My understanding is it is a negotiation. I think we want the channel improvements, but we don't have the resources or the staff to maintain that channel. We don't have the equipment. So it's a discussion, I think.
Robert, are they being maintained presently?
They are keeping the channel clear, but no one is really doing heavy maintenance.
The private properties, are they being maintained?
Private properties are not maintaining those sections. The trees are growing wild, and so are bushes. Erosion occurs.
So is that part of someone's now considered backyard back there?
Side yard more.
Where there are houses, yes. There is no easement, there is no right-of-way, there is no public ownership of the land that the creek runs through in Westchester, outside of the streets that cross. We've got 2 bridges, and IDOT has a bridge. Those are the only public ownership.
Some of those properties run adjacent to the curb, to the street on Suffolk, all the way to the street?
Yeah, they run from the right-of-way line on, the ones I'm looking at, on the west side of the creek, from the right-of-way line on Suffolk on the east side.
East to the creek?
Yeah, sort of the alley on the east side of the creek. That's where that property line is, all the way
Actually ends.
on the other side. So if you can envision what that is, I mean, in the middle of the property is the creek. And there's about 3 or 4 adjacent properties just like that. And then it'll vary depending on how the creek meanders, how much or how little is.
Their intergovernmental agreement is primarily gonna be keeping the creek clean, not really the property outside of it.
Well, I don't know. We haven't seen it. They haven't come up with a draft yet. They are still in design of that project and procuring funding for it. They're not asking for funding participation in that project, but they are going to ask us for an intergovernmental agreement that would transfer some of the maintenance activities. I don't know which ones or all, and I've indicated to them several times we would like financial assistance if it's coming our way, or new equipment, or some kind of agreement.
I'm just trying to get at it, that property, I mean, it's private right now, so they have no jurisdiction to tell us to maintain the creek, but once they do.
That's what I was
Did
getting
obtain
at.
that,
They're
then
gonna
we-
buy it and say,
then
okay,
it's-
you guys
yeah,
maintain
you
it.
guys
Then we'll buy it,
maintain it.
you maintain it.
I certainly can pursue and find out what their intent would be in that program before we commit to anything.
And one of the things we'd have to possibly would be able to get right away for those areas, right?
Yeah, that's pretty high on their agenda because they realize you can't compel anyone to do maintenance if they have no access or right to access.
Does Bellwood, correct me if I'm wrong, they have a piece of equipment that they're able to do, channel, keep that channel clean?
They
They've
hire a
already
contractor.
What's that?
They hire a
Oh,
contractor.
they hired a contractor, they didn't do it themselves?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Years ago, they used to have a commission to do this, and they did some work there years ago with
But
Bellwood.
a suggestion was made to partner up with, a couple of other communities and buy one piece of equipment and everybody uses it, but again, you still have to have the manpower, the time, and,
Yeah, years ago, they came down the pipe inch, and that was, tried to put something together, but just the participation that was going on, and there was very few and money was really tight. So it kind of fell apart. That whole commission fell apart. Anything else, Robert?
We began grinding on the 2 streets that we're doing in-house for the repaving of Chaucer and Dickens on the east side of town. And it's coming along fairly well. Continue it another week, and then we're going to start the alleys,
Hey,
which is a pilot project.
something I heard, that's good. The Ellies, right?
Yeah.
You're a little nervous, Robert, why?
Well, it's very disruptive, and as much notice as we passed out, I'm sure that people will complain about how disruptive repairing these alleys are, but hopefully we can go away for 20 years, and they'll be in much, much better shape. And the
Robert?
idea is to improve them so we're not out there month after month after month after month doing repairs on the unimproved alleys. So we're going to try some techniques. These are alleys in the short streets, just east of Mannheim, that we believe we can do without putting a lot of drainage in. All the other alleys, we're going to have a drainage system. We'll have to design that. We'll have to go 600 feet long as opposed to a couple hundred feet. So it'll be interesting to see how well this works. We think we've planned it out fairly well, but you never know.
No matter what, Robert, even in street projects, everybody had problems with it and everything else. Then when it was all done, everybody smiles and says how beautiful it is. Same will happen with the alleys. We've been trying to do this for a million years back here to get them done. It's great to see that they're getting done. I'm proud that they are being done and the guys are tackling it. So no matter what, blacktop's better than a rock and dust and everything else that we had. So let's give it a shot, and it's good to see forward, Anything else?
I do have a question, Robert. It's, where are you starting with the repairs or the alley? If you know
I don't have that in front of me,
okay.
but it's not every alley. We're just doing the ones that have enough grade to drain out. So we're going to start at Pelham and then go south, I think, 2 of the alleys, and skip the one that's already paved, and then the 3rd one down.
There's been
Just
5
go down
alleys
Manhandle, right?
selected.
Yeah, on the
Yeah,
east
just
side
go
of
ahead,
that.
man.
Right.
For the
It's on my
pilot
desk in the
program.
office. I'll give you a copy of it. It's on my desk in the office. I'll give you a copy of it. Okay? Any more questions, Shirk? All right, President's report. First of all, it's sadly to inform you that one of our Public Works employees' mom passed away. Mike Otters, his mom passed away on Saturday. And I would hope that everyone here keeps her in her prayers and his family. And Mike's been an employee of ours for many years, so sad to hear. So just want everyone to realize and keep him in his prayers. He can use all the help he can. You know, the passing of your mom is a very hard thing, and there's two of us have had them already. I know many of you have had them too. And my heart goes out to them. So that's one. Two, on another issue. Bringing this up to the board as far as the monument and the fountain area for Sam. So I'd like to just throw it out there for you guys, and maybe we'll put it on a cow session in the next meeting to talk about the monument to be put out there for Sam. So
I think
just
that's a
wanna
real
throw
good
it out.
idea.
You know, I want to throw it out there now, you know, we'll put it on the cow for discussion and the design, and we'll think about it from there, okay? Other than that, I have nothing else. Executive session, you don't have anything on that?
I have something for that.
You have something on that? Okay, so after this, the adjournment of the committee of the whole meeting, we will go into executive session. Do we need a vote on that, right, Mike?
You'll need to vote when we do that, but if you're going to adjourn now, subject to going into that executive session, we'll take a motion to adjourn, subject to the executive session.
Mike, is there any way we could add pending litigation or no?
Yes.
Okay.
It's on, that whole thing is on this too, Mike.
Okay.
I mean, Nick.
Okay, pending litigation also?
Thank you.
So moved.
Okay, motion by trustee Miller, seconded by
Second.
trustee Calcagno.
Acclamation's sufficient.
Just a vote, voice vote, guys?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we adjourn. Move right into the cow. Good night, you guys.